Today I fucked up by watching my 600 pounds life in front of my 6-year-old. My son goes to bed around 7 p.m. Afterwards I turn on the TV. Grab my snacks and watch my 600 pounds life. I'm currently binging it. My son came out from bed and saw it on TV and asked about it. I paused it and explained how it is a show about people who are sick and trying to get healthier. Fast forward to today. I'm taking my son to the doctor. He goes to a family medicine, and not a pediatrics office. So all ages are there. A lady walks in and is checking in. She is very overweight. My son goes, "Is she here from my 600 pounds life?" Once. I tried to cover his mouth with my hand. So then he goes louder, "Is she the girl from my 600lb life?" The lady didn't acknowledge what he said and ignored it. I know she heard it and I feel absolutely terrible. I honestly didn't know what to say in the moment. So I just said, "No. That's not very nice." After the appointment I had a good talk with him about not making comments about how people look. I also told him how words can hurt people's feelings. And that if someone is on TV there will be cameras around lol. I feel absolutely awful for the lady. I wanted to apologize on behalf of my son. I felt that might make it worse for her. I really hope it didn't ruin her day. Too long did not read. Son saw me watch my 600 pounds life. Asked me in front of obese lady if she was on the show. She heard. I'm not a very good-looking guy and I was once standing outside of my local supermarket and a kid around 5 or 6 starts pointing at me and shouting at his dad. I don't like his face. It honestly made my day. The look on the dad's face was absolutely priceless. I'm a bigger woman and had a little girl tell me, "How can you be so fat and pretty at the same time?" I just smiled and said, "Guess I'm just lucky." Poor kid, her mom was mortified. I told mom, "Kids speak truth, I'm very aware I'm overweight but telling me I'm pretty made my day, don't be mad at her." I also had an oops with my son and that show. He was 5 or 6 and wandered into my bedroom and I had just turned it on. I was talking to him and completely forget they do the shower scene at the beginning. He looked at me and said, "Women are gross naked, I'm never getting married," and wandered back out. 30-some years ago when I was 6 I walked up to an African American woman in a Toys R Us and asked her if her children were vanilla like I was. The woman looked at me with a big smile and said, "No my dear. They are chocolate, just like me." I told her I'd love to have her chocolate kids come to my birthday party. I'll never forget the look of complete blood loss on my mother's face, and this is why it goes down as one of my earliest memories. I'm 4 feet 11 inches. I was at the park with my kiddo and a kid around 6 or 7 came up to me and asked if I was a grown-up or a kid because I look like a grown-up but I'm too little to be a grown-up. Lol. Many years ago, I went through a period of such bad plantar fasciitis that I was willing to try anything. I bought a pair of Z-coils because they actually gave me some relief. I was wearing those at a mall and a kid turned to his mom and said, "That man is wearing clown shoes," or something like that. As she frantically tried to apologize, I told her I didn't give a shit because my feet felt so much better it was worth it. If you ever want an honest opinion about your appearance, physique, then ask a 6-year-old. My son was 4 or so. Get behind a guy with very noticeable bad hygiene. "Dad, that guy stinks." "Shush shush, yes. But he stinks really bad. Lordy, I about died." Dude didn't turn around. And my son was right, it made my eyes want to water, but kids, eh? Today I fucked up by taking a date hiking and her falling off a waterfall. I've been seeing this girl for a few weeks now and we both really enjoy the outdoors, so we've been doing little hikes on the weekend. The weather has finally started to break from the humid summer and the leaves are starting to change colors, so I thought it would be really nice to hike Glen Inoko Falls. It's a beautiful rocky trail that follows a stream leading up to a bunch of waterfalls. On the drive up I did warn her that the trail was actually closed last year due to a few people dying from falling down the final waterfall. But I reassured her that it was probably due to inexperience and not paying attention to surroundings. She was still as excited as I was and we were both prepared with the proper hiking boots and gear. We get to the trail and we immediately notice the trail is pretty washed out from the bad rainstorm we had a few days prior. The rocks were wet with mud and debris, so it made it into a pretty challenging hike. Small streams weaved their way through the trail leading into the stream, now river, ahead. You could hear the falls from miles away due to the high water flow. After about a half hour of scampering down rocks we made it to the first fall. She decided to hike upstream into the first fall by hopping across any rocks peeking out above the water. I followed her with some hesitation, but I saw the end goal and the view would have been nice. Well, she gets to a point where there's nowhere left to go, and while trying to turn back around she loses her footing and slips into the water. A little bit embarrassed in herself, she laughs as she climbs out and I help carry her out of the water. We both shake it off and laugh for a couple minutes. I explain that she should be more careful, especially with water rocks as they're usually covered in moss. After both calming down and regaining our confidence, we continue on to the next fall. I was leading, but as soon as we got close, in her excitement she passed me to get to the fall first. I was planning on walking up to the edge until I saw it was covered in wet moss. She unfortunately did not see and kept walking. I immediately yell out for her to wait, but she had already lost her footing and in a split second she was gone and over the edge. From where I was standing I couldn't see how far the drop was. I didn't know if it was 10 feet or 100. I immediately had a panic attack while run up to the edge yelling her name in fear. I look over and about 15 feet below she's sitting in the water hysterically laughing. I was in complete fight or flight mode and didn't know if she was in shock or just embarrassed, so I run down the side of the fall as fast as I possibly could in complete tunnel vision. I had no sense of my surroundings, I just needed to get to her. I climb down the side and get to where she had fallen, but there's no sight of her. I look around and behind me by about 20 feet is Glen Inoko Falls, where people had fallen off and died in the past. As I'm having a mental breakdown and thinking the worst, I look over and she's standing on the side of the stream just uncontrollably laughing. I run over to her and I hug her as she's still hysterically laughing and ask if she's okay, to which she managed to say yes, just incredibly embarrassed. There was some light bruising on her legs, but other than that not a scratch. Somehow she landed perfectly between these rocks and into a small pool of water. I gave her my flannel to dry off and she laughed the entire way back to the car as I nervously walked back still in shock. But once we got back to my car we both broke down laughing in the parking lot before driving home. I think we're going to stick to the safer hikes for a little while. Too long did not read. Took at date on a dangerous hike and she fell down a waterfall. Sounds like she isn't the cautious type, especially seeing as she had already taken a fall. Could say that she fell for you. At least she'll never forget you. 29 years down the line, you remember that one guy that almost had me killed at the waterfalls, lol JK, rolling on the floor laughing. That is both frightening and hilarious. So glad she is okay. I've done that hike quite a few times, it's beautiful but it's no joke. I didn't even realize they'd reopened the trail. I started reading your story and thought, they're gonna close it again, aren't they? This and the Hawk Mountain area are bad for people showing up wearing the wrong shoes, overestimating their physical abilities, or nearly allowing their kids to plunge off cliffs. But as you know, even when you're well prepared you have to really watch your step. I slipped and fell on loose gravel on the Pinnacle Trail a couple of years ago, and wound up with a bruise the size and color of a large eggplant on my hip. Stay safe out there. Dodged a rock there for sure. Might want to go hiking with friends from now on. Kind of raises questions when two leave and only one comes back. I guess in the future you guys need to stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Yuck. Today I fucked up by eating a 250 mg THC edible before serving at a wedding. The best and worst high, and the best and worst shift I've ever worked. I am a heavy user, heavy. Mostly THC carts, but I've basically been high 24/7 for 3 years. A few hours of sobriety here and there. On break, my coworker asked me if I wanted to split a cookie. Sure. Where that cookie at, I want it now. I eat edibles now and then and haven't had any issue since like the first time when I was 16, 30 now. We split the cookie. And smoke a few clips. Before we go back in after our 30 minutes I eye the Nutter Butter wrapper on the car floor. 500 mg. Oh fuck. I already know that I'm gonna probably die. I've taken 100 mg before and was okay but was fucked up pretty good. 250 mg is way more than 100 mg if my math is correct. When we go back in, we find out that we're on the same team. Work banquet, weddings. It was the two of us with 5 tables. Neither of us could pretend to be sick and leave or lean on one of our sober coworkers to carry the team. We're fucked. By cocktail hour, I am floating. My legs feel like they are not even moving even though they are. But somehow, someway, I also feel amazing every 20 seconds. Then feel like I'm gonna drop crab cake sliders all over this lady in a wheelchair. But I don't. I make jokes instead and am the funniest I've ever been. One guest said I was his new best friend. I go to the bathroom before dinner starts. My eyes look like I've been sobbing uncontrollably for 2 days. Maybe I wasn't funny at all and they were all just cracking up because I couldn't even put a sentence together, and because it looked like someone was ripping ass on my pillow the night before. I can't go back out like that. My boss loves me and knows I'm high most the time, but I do a good job. This was not a good job. I'm about to call the police on myself when my chef buddy walks in and magically has eye drops in his pocket. I got back out there with eyes as white as snow, just a normal fucking guy, being a normal fucking guy. Or was I? I don't know. But where is my partner? I'm pouring all the champagne myself, I'm putting out first course. Where the hell is she? She's definitely dead. It was hard trying to take dinner orders when I can't remember the word I said just before the word I'm saying now. And also I'm mourning the death of my partner. But wait. She appears. Her eyes were more red than the devil is. Yeezy. She tells me that she's dying. I knew I was right. I look at her dead in the eyes and say, "We are fucking beasts, we are not dying, we're fucking killing it." It didn't work. She was too far gone. She hid in the back whenever she could and I got through it. Rode my bike 14 miles home after the shift. Almost got assassinated by a few mean deer who were tracking me. Woke up, rode my bike 14 miles back to work for today's shift. I still feel high. I'm on break. Me and my partner are smoking clips again. She didn't die. I believe in Jesus now because I didn't before, because he was the only person who rose from the dead and I needed more proof of others doing the same. She is my proof. Praise be to Lord Jesus Christ. Too long did not read. My partner and I ate an edible that was 5 times stronger than what we were expecting at the beginning of our shift serving at a wedding. I worked an entire shift higher than Snoop Dogg in Soulplane and my partner passed away for a few hours and I had to do everything by myself while also trying not to pass away. Can confirm 250 mg is indeed more than 100 mg. LMFAO. Thank you for just imagining what you went through. Fuck riding a bike that far to work every day. Holy shit, are you the Terminator? God damn, I haven't laughed this hard since I was a kid. I also know the horrendous, but loving effects from the good OL edibles. Bless your heart for taking it like a champ and then having to ride a bicycle home afterwards? Just, holy shit, tears of joy. I'm high now and this sounds amazing. I wish I got high like this. I just get fucking sleepy. Nutter butter is the best. Laughs while high off a full gram of RSO.